I promise you that tonight you're going to learn how to create a practice that is a true business, not a job. What I mean by that is it is a business that makes money when you're not there. A job is something that you trade time for money with, okay? It's a little bit different. It's going to be a true business. It's going to be replicable, okay? So what I mean by that is I've done it in my practice. I've done it in dozens of clients' practice. You can do this. Anyone can do this. There's nothing special about me. My dad's a carpenter. My mom was a real estate agent. I have replicated this so many times, it works, all right? And I've been doing coaching for the past 6 years, so I've got some experience doing it. You can do this. Now, this is for any level of owner, new owners, you're gonna learn how to build that foundation to grow faster. It's gonna avoid you years of trial and error. Not like me, I had a lot of trial and error, okay? So you're gonna avoid a ton of that. And for experienced owners, I hope this helps you identify some missing pieces in the way you're running your practice that might be keeping you from growing and might be keeping you from getting the freedom that you need. So this is going to be just like a dental procedure. You're going to follow the steps and you get predictable results. That's what we want. That's what the system is. So before we get into this, let me share a little bit of my story, so you understand where I'm coming from. I did a startup in 2012, just me and these three, and I loved it at first. I just loved being at the practice, and it was fun, it was engaging, and I really enjoyed like growing and just being there. I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do this stuff. And I built my practice, it went pretty well. But I didn't build my practice through grinding myself into the ground. I built it through systems, like scheduling systems, financial systems, operational systems, clinical systems. I was obsessed with building efficiency and predictability and consistency in every part of my practice. And not surprisingly, it worked really well. My practice really grew over the course of the next 8 years. We were collecting actually, we did collect $6 million. I had a packed schedule, I had a high performing team, a great culture. And from the outside in, it looked like I had everything figured out. I mean, I was making great money. Look at this team. It looked like this guy has really figured out. He's very successful. But truth be told, I wasn't very happy. I was pretty miserable. I was like at a point where I just hated everything. And yes, I was successful because of the systems, but here's what no one will tell you is that systems will help you grow your practice to this level. But without a leadership structure to support it, it's going to burn your ass out really good and really fast. So I had systems for like everything, but I was still the one answering every question, solving every problem, approving every decision. The systems worked, but I was the glue that was holding it all together. And thankfully, at this time, I wasn't working 5 days a week still. I mean, I'd cut my clinical days, but mentally, man, I was working 7 days a week in my head. I could never shut it off. I was successful, but I was stressful beyond belief. And the stress wasn't necessarily from the success directly, but it really just came from having the absence of the right leadership structure to sustain it. So I was so miserable, overwhelmed, depressed, not the best father, not the best husband. I would sit in my office and just be pissed off, trying to get caught up, overwhelmed. Every time somebody asked me a question, I was really short with them. And then, thankfully, COVID happened. And I know it's weird to say thankfully COVID happened, but I went home for 12 weeks and I shut off the practice and I realized, man, I've got something really special. I started spending a lot of time with my wife, with my kids. We started eating dinner every day together. We started going on walks, watching movies, playing games, talking. And I was like, my God, I am missing my entire life because of this practice. And that's when I realized when I go back to work from COVID, I have got to do things different. Yes, systems alone are not enough. You need systems for leadership too. You need a structure in your office where accountability flows through the team instead of always flowing up to you. So I went back, I started developing leaders at my practice and creating accountability structures. And when I did that, everything changed in my life. Okay, the stress, the problems, they disappeared. My team started handling all these issues before they ever made it to me. And my practice and my income, it continued to climb. And most of all, I felt happy again. I was a different person. I was a better father. I was a better husband. I was a better person. I was engaged. I enjoyed being at the practice again. The stress was gone. So that's really what this webinar tonight is about. It's not only about working fewer days. I mean, it's about working fewer days because you can work fewer days, you can look just like this, but it's about building a practice that doesn't depend on you as the owner to hold it all together. It's about building a practice that's going to serve your life instead of destroy it. And me personally, I have done it. Okay, so everything I'm going to tell you tonight comes from experience. It's not theory, it's not just a good idea. These are things I have actually done in my life. Currently, myself, I am working 2 or 3 just 5-hour days per month. Okay, not per week, per month. I see patients about 10 to 15 hours a month, and I'm only doing procedures I enjoy. For me, it's ortho. I like ortho. I like band and bracket on teens. I like when I walk in the room and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And they go, "I'm good," or they go, "Fine." They don't even ask me how I am. I like that type of patient. That's where I am in my career at this day. So I have done this stuff, and starting in January, I'm going down to just 2 weeks a month. So I'll be 2 days because I'm currently trying to process myself into going non-clinical. And that's what you can do. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, a little disclaimer. You will not go from 5 days clinical to that in 1 year. Not possible. That is unrealistic. But what is realistic, okay? You can definitely, if you're at 4 days or 5 days, you can get to 3 days in 1 year or less. Super easy. I've done it for dozens of people. It works. But wherever you are at, I want you to think about how can you take the next step. And when I look at practice stages, there's what I call capacity points, okay? There is a point where you can't get any more production. You can work faster, you can grind. This is when you grind and you try to get a little more production, but it just doesn't work. All right, the first capacity point is when you got an owner doc, you got maybe 2 or 3 hygienists, maybe 1.4 to $1.8 million in collections, and you're like, I can't get past it. I'm stuck. And the reason is because grinding will not get you to the next level. This is when you have to start scaling. This is when you need the systems. You bring on an associate, you add some more hygienists. You get to maybe like 2.5 million in collections. Okay, you're at your next capacity point. Bring on another associate, bring on some more hygienists, pending you have the room to do this. And you just keep doing that and keep maxing it out and then going to the next step. So just wherever you're at, know that you're going to go to the next step and it's possible. So you have a little more context on me. I'm super passionate about this subject. It's something I've spoke on. It's something I've written books on. I am the host of the Dental Practice Heroes podcast. Our goal is to teach practice owners how to work less, make more money, and live better lives because they have a practice that supports it instead of ruining their lives, which we see a lot of miserable dentists. I was one myself. I've written 2 books on dental practice management. And this is just teaching you all of the stuff that we didn't learn in school. Let's face it, we didn't learn it. So you need to know it to run a practice. It's in that book. And I also run the DPH Hero Collective, which is my online mastermind. I'll tell you a little bit about that tonight in a little bit. But my thing is I want to figure out a way for you to have an excellent life through your practice. And I don't want you to sacrifice patient care. I don't want you to sacrifice income. And most importantly, your sanity. Do not, okay? So let's think about this. You might own a practice, or maybe soon you will be a practice owner. What are some reasonable goals with ownership? Now I'm going to say reasonable. Okay, you could do better than this, but reasonable. I think this is reasonable because I've seen it done. A lot of dentists do it. 7-figure take home on less than 9 days clinical per month. And I'm saying at least 5 ops, okay? Most docs can get to less than 9 clinical days per month, but that 7-figure take home, sometimes you need 5 ops or more. But I know a ton of dentists, 7 figures. Some of them no associates, some 1 associate. It just depends what kind of producer you are, but you can do this. Anyone can do it. And you'll have a practice that is an asset that you can sell for maybe around $10 million. Now I hope you create a practice that you don't want to sell, but you will have that asset as this nest egg for you when you decide the time is right. And you can also have a practice where you're only doing the procedures you want. Want to do another class 2? I hate class 2s. I hate composites. You don't want to do it anymore? Stop doing it. Set up your practice so you don't have to. Want to stop checking hygiene? Stop doing it. You want to stop seeing new patients? Stop doing it. Okay, I've stopped doing all those things. Like I said, ortho, 2 or 3 days a week, 5 hours each day. So what this is really about is doing whatever you want. It's having the complete freedom to choose how you practice. Want to practice 4 days a week, 5 days a week? You love it? Cool, do it. You want to practice 0 days a week? Do that. Whatever makes you happy, you will have the freedom to do when you build your practice in this way. Now, This isn't just about me. It's not just my story. This is a client of mine. It's Dr. Alex. She came to me stressed and burnt out, and she was working 4 or 5 days a week and taking it home, doing her admin at home, just feeling like her growing practice was just overtaking her life. And we worked together. We built out our systems. We added 2 operatories. We added an associate. We ramped up the production, and we cut her down to 3 days, all the while like getting her team involved to lead her team. And now she's down at 3 days. She doesn't have as much admin to do. The team is running the practice, and her whole life feels different. And it only happened in 8 months. That's how long it took us to do that, 8 months. And Dr. Trent Paffenroth, this is a great friend of mine, Wisconsin dentist. Man, awesome dude, working 4 or 5 days a week, just crushing it, doing awesome. Couldn't step back, had the systems that he wanted to do, couldn't roll them out. Finally got the systems rolled out, got the production up, and now he added an associate. He cut his days back. And then he added a second associate, and he cut his days back even further. And now he's working 2 days a week. He's only doing surgery. You want Dr. Trent to do your MOD? Dr. Trent doesn't do MOD anymore. He just does surgery because that's what he loves to do. So he's got 2 kids at home, being an awesome dad, being an awesome husband. That's what this is about. This is what happens when you follow a system that's built around leadership, scheduling, and profitability. It's not built around hustle, I promise you. So, what keeps you stuck? Here's the reality. Most practice owners stay stuck because they're chasing the wrong things. You might think that more hours equals more money. You have to work more hours to make more money, or that you have to work faster to make more money. Or you think that, well, if anyone has production like that, they must be a crown mill. They must be taking bad patient care. And you might think that. Or you must think that, hey, I have to be a natural leader. I'm not a natural leader, so I'm kind of stuck. There's nothing I can do about it. But, the worst one of all is when we say, I know what I need to do, but I don't do anything about it. Why don't I do anything about it? Why don't I implement? I know what I need to do because it's more than that. So we sometimes get stuck and we're victim to this either or thinking. We believe it must be, well, what do I want, profit or patient care? And the truth is, you can absolutely have both. And when your systems are right, you create space for both. High quality care becomes predictable, and the profit is the byproduct of that. Okay, you can take great care of people and get paid for it in high profits. So you don't have to choose one or the other. Do I want to build my practice or have a stable and great home life? Because I can't have both. Again, that's not true. I am here to tell you, you can have both. You can have a thriving practice and still have energy at the end of the day for the people that matter the most to you. So you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And then lastly, maybe I'm just not the right person for practice ownership. This is what I thought for a very long time. I said, you know what? I'm somewhat anxious. I don't think I can handle all the pressure of this. I'm just not made for this. So either I stay stressed for the rest of my life or I've got to sell my practice. And I want you to know you don't have to quit dentistry to love your life. You have everything you need to love your life right now. You don't have to wait for some magical exit moment to finally feel free. This is why the systems matter, and it's important. So I want to say this clearly. I know how easy it is for you to feel that you might be the only person struggling with this stuff, but you're not. But if you've ever felt stuck, you felt like, I just don't know the business or management side of dentistry, that's all right. We were never taught in dental school. We were never taught in residency. We didn't learn this stuff. We're not supposed to know it. It's not your fault. If you've ever felt guilty about the toll that the practice ownership is taking on your family and your relationships, that's okay too. Man, we hold a lot on our shoulders, right? We take a big loan out. We got all that risk. We've got all those payments, all that debt that we get from school. It is heavy and it can show up in all your relationships. And if you feel guilty about that, that's good because that means that you care. Okay, and if you're like tired of seeing all those successful dentists on Facebook posting vacations, cars, and watches, dude, I mean, I get it. We all are. And just let's face it, 75% of that stuff's fake. Just shake that off and don't compare yourself. Who cares what they're posting on social media? That doesn't mean anything. But if you've ever thought, well, this is just the way that it's got to be, I want you to know it doesn't. You don't need to work harder. You don't need to sacrifice more time with your family. You don't need to burn yourself out to make this work. You just need the better tools. You need the right systems. So There are three core systems that every successful, low stress, high profit practice has in place. And these are the systems how you can reduce clinical days, increase income, and finally build a practice that serves your life. But before we get to that, I just want to poll the room. Let's throw a poll up here. Let's just see, where are you guys right now and how many clinical days is everybody working? So we'll let that kind of go for a second. All right, about 10 more seconds here for anyone to get an answer. All right, we're gonna end it right there. All right, cool. Most people at 4 days, a few people at 5 days. Hey, props to you. You're grinding. I love it. Get after that. We got to pay off those loans, right? And a few at 3, a few at 2, and a few at 1. So some people that have gotten to that level, but most of us are still 4 or 5 days a week, right? And that's okay. I mean, I was 4 or 5 days a week too. I mean, we all are. But what I want to show you is going to be a little bit different tonight. And I hope after watching this, you're excited. So, three foundational systems. We're going to talk about scheduling systems. We're going to talk about leadership systems. That's the big one, bro. That is the important one. And we're going to talk about money systems because who likes to talk about money? We all do, right? All right. So, these three core systems, and let's jump into it. So, scheduling systems. I want you to ask yourself, what does a nearly perfect day? And the reason I say nearly perfect is because there is no perfect day. But what is a nearly perfect day? For me, it is sure as shit not a million composites. My God, I do not want to do MOD, MOD. Dude, not for me. And you know what? It stresses you out. It hurts your brain. They're shorter appointments. They're not productive. We don't get paid a lot for them. I do not want a million composites on my schedule. And I do not want a ton of zero production appointments like crown deliveries, post-op checks, suture removals, little things like that. I don't want those on my schedule because there's zero production. So I'm going to try to have less of those. I always want to make sure. I love it when I have some higher production procedures. I love it when I have crowns and ortho starts and implants. I love it when you get those things on your schedule. Think about when you have crowns on your schedule. Your day is way more chill. It's way more productive. It's a better day. I want to make sure I see an abundant amount of new patients because when I know I see an abundant, I'm saying 2 to 3 per day. When I see that amount of new patients, my schedule, the doctor side, is going to be busy. And that's how I like it because when I'm at work, I want to be busy. I'm not talking about chaotic. I'm not talking about roller skates. I'm talking about busy. And I want to run on time all day because the best way to piss off your assistant is to get behind and everybody runs behind. And the best way to piss off your hygienist is to get behind and make them wait for your exams. So I want to run on time. The way we do that is we utilize our staff. And what I mean by that is like check your state laws, utilize your staff for as much as you can. Say you build maybe 40 minutes, you'll book 40 minutes for a crown delivery. Think about this. I would rather have it that assistant seats the patient, gets the temp off, polishes the contacts, flosses them, makes sure they're good, takes an x-ray to make sure those margins are sealed, adjusts the bite, gets the intaglio ready, gets the surface ready, pages me, and I go in there and I go squirt, 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 smush, and I'm out of there. Okay. And then they're going to wait for the cement to clean up and then they clean it up. That's how I want to do a crown delivery. So that's like a 40-minute appointment in some offices. Some offices, it's an hour. I'm talking about it's like a 2-minute thing that I'm just doing as I walk by the room going down the hallway. So we utilize our staff. There's a lot of states where you can do hygienists doing anesthetic. If you can, do it. Anything you can do where you can do less, you want to utilize your staff. And lastly, I want to create a schedule that I hit my production goal. I want to make sure I hit my production goal every single day. I don't want a big day and a small day. Big day, small day. I want production goal every day. So we're going to try to create this perfect schedule here. I'm going to show you what I do at my office. Now, this is open dental. All right, you can do this in EagleSoft. You can do it in Dentrix. You can do it in Curve Dental. I'm pretty sure you can do this in most PMSs nowadays. This is what I call DPH block scheduling. So let me get my pointer out here. I'll show you what we're working with. All right. So we are going to have a production goal of $4,000 for this day. All right. We will do no less than $4,000 because we've got 4 appointments here. We've got these minor blocks. This is where we're going to see fillings. We're limiting fillings. We don't want to do a million composites. We're going to do 2 appointments of composites, and they're going to be greater than $500 because there's going to be a certain amount of composites in there. Now you're going to say, what do you do with that single composite? Well, if I'm going to diagnose one composite, I'm going to do it the same day. I don't want it to come back in my schedule. It's a schedule killer. All right, we got these major blocks. That's your high production stuff, your implant, your orthostart, your crowns, your root canal buildup crowns, that sort of stuff. So greater than $1,500. You see these yellow ones. These are LOEs, which is limited oral eval. This is an emergency. We put them in our schedule because if we don't block out for them, sometimes we don't have time. So we guarantee we've got at least $500, $1,500, $500, and $1,500. There is at least $4,000 on that schedule, and chances are there's going to be more on there. We're going to do more in hygiene. We're going to have exams and other same-day procedures we might add to it. We are going to hit our goal that day, at least $4,000. Now, this is a very light day. This is only 6 hours I'm showing you here. But, so that's one doctor. Now, I said I have a pretty big practice. I've got 4 doctors at my practice. So that's the other doctor, 2 columns. Doing the same thing, 2 crown blocks, major blocks, and then some filling appointments. So making sure we do that. We will hit our goal if we fill these blocks. Now, the next somebody comes in, they busted a cusp off a tooth, they want to do their crown today. Do we do it? When's the best time? Same day dentistry. You're thinking right now, no. You reschedule, you punt that to another day. If you've got all these blocks filled, why are you going to run on roller skates when tomorrow you've got a wide open hour, or you got 2 days, you got an opening? Like I said, I don't want a big day and a small day. I want consistent days at my goal. So these are the 2 doctors. The colors denote what doctor it is. Green is Dr. Steve. The peach color is Dr. R. All right, let's see what else we got here. Now, this is going to freak you out. This is hygiene. Do not feel overwhelmed. This is 6 columns of hygiene. All right, so the green columns here, this is Dr. Steve. He is going to check these 3 columns of hygiene. Yellows are recalls, greens are new patients, and reds are scaling and root planing. We are going to save scaling and root planing. Now, I should tell you at the bottom of the schedule, we are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that I just had to cut it off. So if you're looking at why is that appointment so short, I cut it off. But we've got, okay, we're going to guarantee Dr. Steve's going to see 3 new patients. Now this is Dr. R. She's over here, but these are her columns, 1, 2, 3 columns. She's going to see 3 new patients that day too. She's going to have some scaling and root planing that she doesn't have to check that. So we check 3 columns at my office. That might seem insane to some people. We have systems for doing this. We do a lot of co-diagnosis with our hygienists. A recall exam is like 2 minutes for us. It doesn't feel short. It doesn't feel like we're not doing great patient care. We have a system for it. I don't want to get into it, but I just wanted you to know this is how we do it at our office. So big thing here is that, let me get rid of this pointer here. The big thing is, don't get overwhelmed with all those colors, because the thing is, just don't overthink it. 2 to 3 crowns a day. We're going to save spots for big appointments, for big production appointments. Just save a little spot for it. You're going to hold a little space for new patients and SRPs. We see a lot of practices, they reach that first capacity point, and they're booking, all their schedule is recall. And they're like, we don't have any new patients anymore. We can't get them in. But the fact of the matter is you can get them. They're calling. You just have nowhere to stick them because you let recall take over the whole entire hygiene schedule. So you've got to hold space for those new patients if you're going to grow. Limit those low value procedures so that you don't have too many of them on one day. You want to balance them out. And then you're going to utilize your team so you can work through your day faster, more efficiently, less chaos. Who doesn't want that? And you're going to make sure your block values hit your production goal. So how long do you have those blocks? If in that last example, those are 2 of my associates. Those were 2.5-hour crown blocks. That mine are not that. My other associate are much shorter. You got to find what works for you. We're Sericking, we're milling in office, so it's going to be different for every single office. Now, if you are somebody that's not milling, for every major block, you need to have a crown delivery block at a certain time in the schedule. Pick it. When I got my knee surgery, they said, you're coming in Tuesday at 10:15 a.m. I didn't say, well, what do you think about Wednesday night at 6 p.m.? They're like, no, we do it at Tuesday at 10:15. They didn't ask me what I wanted, so we don't have to give that to our patients. They want a certain time. This is the time that's available. But I want this time. This is the time that's available. So just you can do this with your schedule. It's not hard. And we're not being mean with the patients telling them they can't come in. We're being very kind with it, right? All right, start somewhere. Just start somewhere, see how it goes, and see what you need. Don't overthink it. This is somebody I worked with and hit a milestone. He's sending me over Facebook Messenger. His name's Pat. And they were doing about 350K a month at this office. They switched to that type of scheduling I just showed you. $500,000, 1 month, $150,000. You do that for 12 months in a row. What's that? An additional $1.8 million for this guy's office just by block scheduling. What a difference, right? Pretty awesome. All right. Let's talk about what stresses you out most at the office. I'm gonna throw another poll up there because I would love to see this one. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but let's see. What stresses you guys out? So I'll give you a little bit of time here. It appears it is shaping up the way I anticipated. All right, awesome. Okay, we're just going to stop right there. I think we can see what the trend is there. Man, team management, right? What is it about teams that make our lives so hard? What's with that? All right, so what stresses you out at the office? Managing the team, you feel like you've got to check, did we confirm the schedule? Did the front desk follow up? Did the hygienist block the appropriate amount of time? Where is the supply? Where's the gloves? Are the lab cases here? Nothing gets done unless you chase it down. Do you ever feel like that? If you are constantly asking, did that get done? That's not management, that's babysitting. Nobody wants to do that. That's not fun. What about the team drama? You got two people not getting along. Now, you don't want to be the referee, but somehow you're sucked into it again and you've got to mediate. Feels like you're in a middle school hallway. It drains everybody. It's just a distraction. And then we've got team distractions. You're in your office, you're getting caught up on your notes, and somebody wants to talk to you about having more PTO, or they want to take next week off. They want to do something like that, or they feel like they need a raise and they don't like the way the PTOs can't to calculate it. I don't know. It's a distraction. It's stuff that you don't want to focus on. You're not focusing on the big stuff, you're focusing on that. All right, hold on 1 second here. I just want to make sure that I'm still running here. Oh, I didn't close let's see. Okay, cool. All right, we're good. I wanted to make sure I got out of that. Okay, cool. Um, HR, man, hiring, firing, performance reviews, salary reviews. It feels like your entire HR department, all this stuff you're doing did not go to school for. So it just sucks. And now you're planning next month's birthday party. I don't know. And then people. I mean, people are hard to deal with. Sometimes it can feel like nobody thinks, that your team doesn't follow through. They don't anticipate needs. They don't own their roles. Everything flows up to you. And you're surrounded by this team. You love them. You love your team, but you still feel like sometimes you're the only one who cares whether the place runs or not. Have you been there as an owner? Man, I've been there a lot of times, okay? And this is why. This is how usually a practice is set up. And it's even if it's not intentional, this is just usually how it looks. The owner, you, are at the center of everything. Every question, every problem, every decision flows through you. Front desk person's got a question, they go to you. Dental assistant's got a question about gloves, they go to you. The hygienist got a question, they go to you. And this is why you feel exhausted. This is why your days don't go smoothly. And this is why you go home and you don't want to speak to anyone because you just want to tear your hair out. You're just exhausted. It takes a lot out of you. You become the bottleneck. And it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because this is just how almost every single practice naturally evolves when there's no leadership structure in place. This is the default. You're playing whack-a-mole all day long. You're micromanaging. Nobody's truly owning anything except for you. And here is the big takeaway with this. This model, it doesn't scale. This is the model that keeps you stuck. It keeps you busy as hell, but it burns you out. And that's why we need to change it. That's why we need to build leadership systems in our practice and get the communication flowing through our team instead of going straight to us. Now, solution. Very simple, not easy, but simple. You've got to create leads at your practice. You create your direct reports. So let me show you what that looks like. This is how a healthy, scalable practice looks. You've got three people who report directly to you. You've got an office manager. They handle the front desk team, the schedule, all the finances, overall operations. You got the lead dental assistant. They're managing the clinical assistants, all the supplies, the back office flow, efficiency chair side. You've got a lead hygienist. They're making sure like all the x-rays are good, all the hygiene department's good, checking the numbers, the reappoint rate, things like consistency in patient care. So you've got these three people that are responsible now for their teams, and they answer all the small questions. All the small problems, they deal with the small problems. They handle all that stuff and they insulate you. They protect you from all those little things. Now, what does your job then become? Because you don't have to manage as much now. You just have to worry about these three people. All you got to do is meet with these three people regularly. That's how communication flows. That is the way that leadership works. That is how you finally stop being the bottleneck. So now instead of managing eight, I don't know, 15 people, you're managing three. And you free yourself up to lead and you create accountability in your practice. And now your team can grow and your practice grows now without adding more to your plate because you don't have to keep taking on more as your team grows. Now, people always ask me, it sounds good. I like it. I wish I had leads, but what do they do? Man, they do everything you hate about practice ownership. They handle the training. You don't have to be the one explaining how the schedule works, where the gloves go. They are doing all the training. They are standardizing it. They got a 30, 60, 90-day goals. They're training every single person on your team so that you no longer have A, B, C, and D players. You've only got A and B players. Everybody's trained to the same standard. You don't become dependent on one person. They own the schedule. They're handling the staffing schedule. No more like, hey, doc, can I leave early on Friday? Or I know we got a full day of patients, but I woke up and I don't feel good. I'm not coming in. I'm not going to be here next week. You know, things like that, those distractions that, they ruin your day. They handle all the interpersonal drama, people not getting along, they're stepping in before it gets to you. They implement the new systems. You want to implement something? Instead of telling the whole team and getting them on board, you talk to your lead and your lead rolls it out. Um, they are the ones doing one-on-one meetings with their departments. So you don't have to do a one-on-one with everybody anymore. They're going to do it and you just talk to them. So they are just the people that do all the stuff and they meet with you. They bring you the metrics, they bring you the information, the updates, the issues, and you support them. And at my office, they even do hiring and firing. My leads, they call on resumes. They do phone interviews. They have the person in if they like them for the real interview. They offer them a job. They do the salary discussion. If anyone needs to be fired, they fire them. I walk in my practice, sometimes there's new people there. I walk in my practice, sometimes people aren't there anymore. I don't even like know because I trust them at this point and I've trained them to do this and they like that. They like taking that autonomy. So when you do this, what this does is pull you out of the weeds. You're no longer managing people, you're leading leaders. So you got the space to think bigger and you can focus on growth and you can start to enjoy your ownership again. Now, this is one of my clients, Dr. Isaac Hansen. Awesome dude, one of my favorite people. And he's out on the West Coast. He did an acquisition, got a lot of pushback from his team, and he was feeling like a really crappy leader because people started quitting. And I said, dude, Isaac, just stay with it, man. We're clear with what we want to do. If they don't want to be on your team, they don't want to be on your team. And he said, man, I feel like I'm screwing it up. I feel like I'm driving this practice into the ground. Everybody is upset. Everybody's quitting. We built his leadership team. It was first just him and his office manager, Tara. She's awesome. They grew it with the culture that they wanted, and they replaced all the bad people that left with good people. And now he's got a dream team. Now he says, dude, I cannot believe how stressed I was 8 months ago and how much I love my team and I love my culture. I love being at my practice now. That's what you do. That's what happens when you put in those systems. So awesome, dude. Great example of what's possible with culture when you're clear with what you want to do. So what does the owner do? Your job becomes to foster communication. You are going to run the lead meetings, which is a meeting with you and all of your leads. You are going to do one-on-one meetings with you and your leads one-on-one. And then you're going to make sure that there's team meetings, adequate team meetings going on. So you've got to put these on your schedule. They are non-negotiable. You need to have these things. If you want to grow a big practice, you've got to get your turnover down. And the only way to get your turnover down is that you've got to have communication. Communication goes up, turnover goes down. So if you ever think about somebody putting in their 2 weeks, the reason that they do is because they do have something happen at the practice and they don't like it. pisses them off, and it pisses them off, and it happens again, and it happens again. And then they say, you know what, that happens 5 or 6 more times, I'm probably going to leave. And that happens again and happens again. And finally, they're like, you know what, I don't get paid enough for this crap. I quit. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. Now, if you're making sure all this communication is happening, before that person quits, they are going to tell somebody what's bothering them and frustrating them, and you will be able to address it, or your leads can address it, and that person is happy, and that's how you keep a team, and you start keeping your all-stars, and you don't have to constantly turn people over and train people. All right, there's a client of mine on West Coast, Dr. Matt. Dude started at like 600K in collections. Within a little over a year, we got to 1.65 million. He crushed it. He was not a natural leader, but he stepped into the role. He said, I'm gonna learn how to do this leadership stuff. And he really grew a team. He increased his production systems and all that. Now, at some point, things started sliding off the rails a little bit. We're like, what's going on? And what happened? He stopped putting the meetings on his schedule. He stopped doing the one-on-ones. He stopped having meetings with his team. So that's the thing. He got back on track with that. Things started getting better. You need to put them on your schedule. You can't just do them when you feel like it. All right. Let's talk about the third foundational system, the money systems. Why is your front desk so understaffed? Do you have an understaffed front desk? I have an understaffed front desk. I think there's 9 or 10 of them. Now, every front desk would love one more person. If we just had one more person, it would be really great. And if we got that one person, we just want one more person. Let's be realistic. I wish I had 2 people to stand beside my bed when I woke up and they could hold my clothes out and I could jump into them. But is that practical? No. And the fact is, I'm going to show you why your front desk is understaffed. All right. I worked with a lot of offices over the past 6 years. Let's take this from the front desk perspective. They are going to present a treatment plan to a patient. They are going to schedule the patient maybe 2 or 3 weeks out. Then the patient's going to come back in 2 or 3 weeks and they're going to say, man, what do I owe? Wait, what was my insurance again? So they're going to have to present that treatment plan again. Okay. Now we perform the treatment, we send the claim, we never collected the payment. And now when we get the claim back, there's a patient balance. So we got to read through and make sure that we got the right amount. We send it to the patient. We send a statement. We put it in an envelope. We put a stamp on it. We take it to the mailbox, or we're doing a text to pay, something like that. And guess what they do? They go, wow, I don't remember that. I'm gonna have to check my records. I'll do this some other day. And they never do it. So then you got to do it next month. You got to audit the chart, because we're not going to send out a statement unless we know it's right. So we got to do that again. Stuff it in the envelope, put the stamp on, do it, send it again. They don't pay us. They're not paying you. You do it another time, a third time. Think of how much time it takes to do this. Finally, you send them the collections. They get the collections letter and they go, shit, these people want to get paid. I should pay them. So they call your office and they go, what the heck? Why do I owe you money? That was so long ago. I thought that was paid for. So now we got to open the chart. We got to find the EOB. We got to explain why they owe this money. Finally, they pay it, but they're pissed off. They thought you were rude. You lose the patient, and you spent 90, maybe 120 minutes on one transaction. One single transaction. Okay? Think of how many patients you see a day if you did that with every single patient you saw. All right, here's the other one. Here's what I want you to do. Present the treatment plan, schedule the patient, collect the entire patient portion to schedule the procedure. 3 minutes, done. When the patient comes back for their appointment, they're not asking to see the treatment plan again. They're not asking about their insurance. They've already checked that one off. And then when you get the EOB back and you get the payment from the insurance, they don't owe any money. So we don't have to chase them. So what I want you to understand is that your front desk can feel understaffed because we're chasing balances. Look at how much it cost us to chase a balance. Look at how many more patients you could service if you stopped chasing balances. So this is why money systems are so important. When do we collect? Okay, in my office, we collect the day we schedule. But if you're not going to do that, collect before you do the procedure. Do it before you do the procedure. If the payment is not in, the burr does not spin. The patient payment must be in before the burr spins. If you don't do any treatment that's not paid for, you will not chase balances, pending that you're getting your insurance estimates correctly. What are our policies around money? Decide. When do we do in-office financing? When do we when do we have payment up front? Things like that. Talk to your team and find out who's in charge of AR at your office. Who's in charge of the accounts receivable? How much do the patients owe? How about the insurance? Have you run an AR report to see how much your 90+ patient AR is? I have seen some atrocious ones, like 3-4-year-old balances, insurance claims that are 2 years old. That's the thing is like who's checking on those insurance claims to see if they need another x-ray, they need a narrative, maybe they just lost it and we got to send another one. Stuff like that. Who's checking on this stuff? And when do we follow up? When are we checking and making sure that these things are under control in our office? A lot of times we just don't pay attention to it. And it costs us a lot of stomach lining. Nothing is worse than poor collections because you did every step of the process except for get paid. You did all the work, but you didn't get paid. And if you want to feel if you want to be overwhelmed as an owner, hey, when you're not collecting, your overhead, it goes up. Your profit, it goes down. And you're already on all these PPOs, so you're already taking the haircut from them. Man, how are you supposed to make any money? Usually, when we look at how much people don't collect, these uncollected dollars, they don't have an overhead assigned to them. They are 100% profit. Usually, it's all owner profit, these uncollected dollars. So who pays when we don't do this? The doctor, the owner doctor. And this might be a reason why we're stressed out in our practice. So the easy fix, clarity around systems, and training on how to do it. So those were our three foundational systems, and it's not that complicated, but again, simple does not mean easy. And this is where a lot of practice owners get stuck. They hear this, they agree with it, that they say, yes, I love this, but they leave a webinar like this and nothing changes. And why? Because knowing what to do and actually doing it are two very different things. And that's why I created the DPH Legendary Mastermind that I'm going to tell you about. I want to take all this stuff from a good idea to a reality inside your practice. So now, and know that that free resource I said at the beginning of the webinar, I'm going to give that away in just a few minutes here. So what is possible for you? I want you to think about it. This is where the fun really starts because when these systems are in place, your schedule, the leadership systems, the money systems, the clinical systems, the operational systems, you finally unlock that practice that the people dream about. They hear about and they say, I want that. You get more income, less clinical days, a business that runs because of the systems, not because of your constant presence. And that's exactly kind of what we guide you to do in our 12-month program. It's not about theory. We've done it in our offices. It's more about the implementation. Can we get you and your team to do this? And yes, we can. So over the next 12 months, we walk you step by step through building these systems and implementing them at your practice. So you're going to have fewer clinical days. You're going to have a leadership team that manages your practice. You're going to have a practice that doesn't need you for everything. You're going to be able to spend more time with your family. You'll be more present with your family. You're going to live a better life. You are going to have a true business that serves your life, that makes you money even when you're not there, and you become the hero. And what does that even mean? What are we talking about? What does dental practice hero mean? That's the name of my podcast. A lot of people think we're like the heroes swooping in and saving everything. No, let me tell you what it means. To be the dental practice hero, that's the person that leads and empowers and builds something that exists without them through systems and leadership. And through implementing the program, your team becomes trained, aligned, they become engaged, and you become the hero for your team. And because your team's so engaged and well trained, they take amazing care of your patients. So you become the hero for your patients. And then because of all that, you've got a very profitable business that's sustainable and doesn't drain you. So then you get to be the hero for your family and show up in a way that you couldn't do before. So they no longer get what's left over of you, they get the best of you. And that's what it means to lead a life of impact. A true hero has impact. And that's what I want for you. Here's the path. It's called the DPH Legendary Mastermind. This is our 12-month guided journey through the Omni practice system. This is what we used in my practice. This is what we use in all our clients' practices. It's the exact roadmap that we've used to scale our practices. You got to build out your leadership team to manage everything. They manage the day-to-day, so you no longer have to. The plug-and-play onboarding system, so people get trained in your office. Everyone becomes A or B players, and there's no more hoping somebody figures it out. They figure it out, and the lead makes sure that they do it. You'll get documented systems A to Z. You're going to get a designated accountability structure that like the accountability flows through your leads instead of you. You're insulated from all that stuff. So I want you to think about in 12 months from now, what could it be like? You could have a self-sustaining business that doesn't need you, where you're not the glue holding it together. You can have just an absolutely amazing team culture where people want to stay on your team and people want to come work for you and enjoy it and not complain, and you're not putting out fires all day. And you're going to have more money. because your systems are driving the results, not your hustle. And most importantly, you're going to get more of you for the people who matter the most to you. So the investment for this is $24.95 per month. Okay, that's what it costs to be part of this group. We're kicking this off in September. Let's see, there we go. And that could be you in 12 months from now. We're kicking this off in September. And remember, you're not just buying the program, you're buying back your time. You're buying back peace of mind. You're buying back the ability to live that life that you thought you were going to live when you got into practice ownership in the first place. So the investment is really in your freedom, right? All right. And for a lot of practice owners I work with, they recoup that investment right away and so many times over. Go to my page, look at my testimonials. Your practice is going to start to run without you. You're going to have that leadership team. They're going to do everything. The work, you're fewer days, more profit, more money. You have the time and energy just to live an amazing life. And I want you to think about how much is it costing you right now to stay where you're at and do nothing? What is the stress of carrying it all affecting your life and relationships outside of work? What is the burnout and overwhelm and too many clinical days and too many decisions every day doing to your mental health? What is the inefficiency in your office and all those opportunities that you're missing because you don't have systems? Think of what your practice could be like if you actually had the time to work on your business. You had the time to focus on growth instead of producing dentistry 4 or 5 days a week. So what we're talking about is buying your time back, and we're doing it in a way that doesn't just set you up for the next 12 months. It sets you up for the rest of your career. And $24.95 a month, I mean, in all reality, you're going to spend it somewhere. I mean, no matter what, whether it's in wasted time, crappy systems, inefficiency, turnover. I mean, this is actually putting your money in a place where you're going to get some return on it. So now I know that I showed you some success stories tonight. You can go see more of those on my website. And you're saying, well, you just cherry pick the best ones. You know, success in this program is not uncommon. When you follow these systems, they actually work. In the way that we do it, what makes us special at Dental Practice Heroes is myself, Dr. Henry Ernst, and Dr. Steve Markowitz, all three of us coaches. We've all done this. Dr. Steve Markowitz, he's got 6 practices on the East Coast. He practices 1 day a week. Henry Ernst, he's got an 18-op practice in Carolina. He practices 1 day a week. So the truth is that success is not unusual. So it's what happens when you put in the commitment and you go through the process. And I want you to know something about this program I created. Man, it took a really long time, and I put my heart and soul into it, and I'm always making it better. I'm always trying to come up with better resources, anything that will get you the results. I want to do it because I love seeing how this affects my clients' lives. I really get joy from it, and I know that I wish I had this earlier in my career. So if you want to join next steps, okay, I'm gonna throw this up in the chat here. All right, throw this link up in the chat here. You go to dentalpracticeheroes.com/apply. All right. And I'll give you some more details in just a moment, and then I'll take some questions here. Okay, so all right, throwing that back up there. All right, so how does it work? What do the meetings look like? There's 2 virtual meetings per month, and there's 2 in-persons per year, okay? The dates for those are to be announced. Are there team calls, some people might ask? Yes, there are team calls. We will involve your team. That's optional. For the docs that want us to involve your team, they can talk to my leads. We're gonna have group calls with leads and some one-on-one calls with the team. So that's there for the people that want to do that. What sort of tools are you going to get if you join the mastermind? Well, you're going to get all the templates, all the checklists, all the systems, and they're all going to be in Word document. All the stuff that I use, you're going to have a fully systematized practice that's documented, and it's in Word document, so you can just swipe it, edit it, make it yours, give it to your team. You're also going to get 35 plus training videos, or 35 plus hours of training videos, way more than 35 videos. And these are on every single subject in practice management. Anything you would want to know, it's there. Anything you want to train your team on, it's there. And our most important thing in these training materials is we need your team to buy into this. So how do we do that? Because this is where you're going to get a different experience working with someone who's actually done it versus a consultant that just has theories, is that we make sure that whatever we implement in your office, it's 1, it's good for the team, and 2, it's good for the patients. It has to satisfy those 2 things because your team needs a better reason than just doc wants to pay for his boat or something like that. You know, they got to feel good about what they do. So we do the right things for the patient and the right things for the team, and the byproduct is profit, right? What kind of support? Myself, Dr. Henry Ernst, Dr. Steve Markowitz, and 14 other growth-minded dentists that are going to be part of this group, September all the way 12 months ahead. So here are the next steps for you. Right now, I've got 7 of 15 spots remaining. And if you say, dude, I am in, I am ready to go, I love you. That's awesome. I love when people are committed like that. Option 1, you can go to the thing, you go to the link, and you can apply, you can enroll in the program. Option 2, I know some of you are going to have some questions. You can book a strategy call with me. I'm making myself very available for this weekend and next week. I just want option 1 to be there. If you know you're ready to go, enroll, because like I said, I only got 7 spots remaining, and I would hate for somebody that's really ready to go in it not be able to get in because they can't get on my schedule soon enough. So if you're ready to go for it. If you sign up before Friday night at midnight, you will get a fast action bonus. You'll get 1 free session with a one-on-one with a coach, and you're also going to get $3,000 off the program. So great stuff. I want to show you where this link goes. Here's the web page. There's 2 options. Option 1, you secure your spot. Option 2, you and I talk. It's a free call. I just can't promise that the spots are going to be there. So I'm giving people option 1 for the people that are ready to go. All right, so dentalpracticeheroes.com/apply. And a few other questions. I mean, throw your questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer questions, but okay, let me get this. I got to get this free gift out because I promised that. I totally forgot to do that. All right, so here is the free case acceptance guide for everybody who came live. You can download it there. I hope you love that document. It is very useful for my team. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to think, what are some things that people ask me? People say, like, you know what, I don't think I don't have the right team for this right now. And the fact of the matter is if you don't have the right team for this, that's even more reason that you do need this, because the team and the structure and the systems is what keeps your team from turning over. It's what grows your team. It's what makes your team more efficient and more engaged. So if you feel like you don't have the right team right now, get this. This will help you build a better team. Some people say, man, I got so much going on right now. I don't have time. If you do not have time, even more reason why you need this thing. So this is every minute you spend in this program will buy you back hours, if not days of time in your career. Some people say, you don't know my team. They won't change. They will. I promise you, your team will change because the leadership systems create that accountability and change. And we teach you how to do that. Do not let some sour attitudes from some of your team members keep you, the practice owner that put your dollars on the line, that you risked everything. Don't let 1 or 2 people keep you from having the dream practice that you've always wanted. That is not fair to you. You want the dream team. Your dream team awaits. You can find them. Some people say, I'm not a very good leader. That's such a big part of this program. That's what we're doing. We're here teaching you how to lead your team. So that is, we know if we can teach you how to lead, you will be good and you will run an amazing practice. So let's see. I want to see if there's any questions here. Let's see in the Q&A here. All right, checking in the chat for any questions here. Oh, we got a few in the Q&A. Okay, there they are. Okay, well. All right. In Australia, assistants are not allowed, only the dentist. Well, that sucks. That stinks. Yeah, personalities. Let's see. No sound. Okay, good. All right. Do you help with all the systems needed or just the 3 listed today? We help with everything, A to Z. These were the 3 ones that I think are the biggest. You get the biggest bang for your buck. We're talking about everything. We are talking a lot about communication. How do we teach your team to communicate in a way that's persuasive, that gets your patients to say yes? How do we teach your team to communicate confidently about collection policies and about cancellation policies so that the patients listen and do what we want them to do, but it still comes off kind and warm? I mean, if you search my practice, Nelson Ridge Family Dental, look at our 5-star reviews. I mean, you will see we are taking awesome care of people. So yeah, we go through everything there is in this program. The parts you want to do, like, and if you've got something, you have big problems that you want to deal with, that's what we want to focus on most. But over the course of the program, we're going to make sure you know how to do everything, because I want to teach you how to run an amazing practice. I know I can do that. Do I work with practices in Canada? Yes, I do. I have a practice in, oh man, I can't remember. It's Saskatchewan. I can't remember what it's by, and I have another one in BC. Oh, West. I can't remember what town it is. But yes, I do work with practices in Canada. The hardest part about practices in Canada is the hygiene model is a little bit different because you guys bill scaling units and just converting the dollars. But it's all the same. It works there too. Uh, where's the free guide? I don't see the free gift. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. Send the link. Okay, I got to send this link again. Let's see. Chat is disabled. Oh, dang it. Well, now I'm just gonna have to give it to you guys, right? Okay, let's see here. All right, so it looks like I got the chat disabled. Let me see if I could fix that really fast here. All right, more chat. Show chat previews. Yeah, I must have it disabled for everybody. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, here it goes, everybody. I am so sorry about that. Is that doing it? We good? Okay, can't see the chat. Not able to see the chat. Dang it. Am I a fee for service practice? No, I am not a fee for service practice. We are maybe 50, 60% PPO. We are maybe 20% out of network fee for service, and we are maybe another 20% cash. We just dropped Delta about a little over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now. So that was 33% of our patients. We have 9,000 over 9,000 active patients. We had a very big practice. We have a lot of hygienists, like 12 hygienists. Um, but no, we are going fee for service right now. And the reason we are is because we have 11 chairs and we filled it. And there's no more hours. We're open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're already working Saturdays. I can't expand anymore. I mean, I guess I could open Sundays, but I don't want to, and my team would kill me. And so we dropped Delta to help control our capacity very soon. We just dropped Aetna about 2 months ago, and very soon Blue Cross Blue Shield will come probably like in a year when we get back at capacity. So that's how we're controlling our capacity. All right. Awesome. Jason, what's happening, man? Jason Crescenzo, awesome dude in Tinley, Illinois. All right, Todd. Let's see. Todd's got his hand up. Let's see, Todd, if you want to throw it in the chat, or if you wanted to talk, I'll throw you up there, and you could talk for everybody if you like. But I don't want to freak you out, man. All right, let's see. Okay, anybody else got a question? Um, I'm here for you. So I really hope you guys consider this, man. Like I got eight people already signed up. Awesome people. I'm so excited for this group. We're gonna have so much fun this year. And some other questions. People might say, are the sessions recorded? Yes, the sessions will be recorded. But if you want to get the most out of the program, you got to show up when we do it live. You got to show up live, right? Show up, be committed, make this a year to remember, and make this the year that you changed everything for the rest of your career. That is what I want for you. Bedtime. Hey, Aurora. So good night. Thank you so much. Yeah, respectfully, maybe that's why you are so busy because you're not fee for service. Well, that is a possibility. But I mean, I'm not busy anymore. I mean, we have a busy practice. It's efficient, but we're on time. We are an on-time practice. We are rarely behind more than 5 minutes, if that. But yeah, it would be nice. We are moving into fee for service right now as we reach capacity. Very large practice, 4 doctors, 2 specialists. Used to have 3 specialists. The one guy wasn't very nice. He's now we're down to 2. That's all I'm gonna say about that. All right. Thank you so much. Would this be beneficial to dental students interested in ownership? I would say no. I'm gonna be honest with you, dental students. I mean, there's just not a lot here. I love the attitude of getting after it and getting in front of it. I would say if you want to know more about this stuff, buy both my books and buy the second book. You don't need to read the first book to read the second book. I feel like the second book's a lot better. Dental Practice Hero 2. It talks a lot more about cutting your clinical days, and it comes from a point of more experience. So I wouldn't say, no, this program is not for dental students. This is for practice owners. So if you own a practice, you're good to go. Let's party. If you do not own a practice, then this is not for you. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit. I really appreciate you guys coming, taking some time out of your night. And man, I hope to see some of you guys in the mastermind. It's going to be tons of fun. So take care, everybody. We will see you later. All right.